What's up, sports bettors? Yesterday I gave out 20 player props, so a lot of them were on PrizePicks, and you can see our first one was a 5-pick flex play where we won 4 out of 5 legs. So flex plays, they pay out based on how many legs you win. So we turned $200 into $400 on this first one, $100 into $200 on the second one. We went 4 for 5 here as well. And then here we went 3 for 5, so we turned $199.99 into $79.99. And again, one of the incentives for placing bets on PrizePicks today and up until Christmas is they have promos every day. So today is just a $20 protected play. Basically, your first entry is insured up to $20, so definitely taking advantage of that. And then yesterday it was bet 500 and you get a free entry to win $1,000, which is exactly what you can see we did. So yesterday I bet basically $500 on the tee so I could meet the requirements for this promo. So I have a bunch more plays on PrizePicks, as well as Underdog Fantasy, so a competitor site to PrizePicks. And I say this all the time, but you should have as many of these sports books as possible. Like a lot of these bets you'll see right here. So one of the first plays I went with is Geno Smith under 1.5 passing TDs. The value here, the play, is on, the profitable bet. It's on Underdog Fantasy. It's not on PrizePicks, right? You can see there's no PrizePicks logo here. So ideally you have both platforms. But anyways, let's get into it. So what you want to know about these platforms, because they're technically not sports books, but fantasy companies, right? Underdog Fantasy, is the way that Underdog Fantasy works is they offer fixed parlays, just like PrizePicks. So basically, any 3-leg parlay, you're going to be betting $1 to win 6. It doesn't matter if we switch around the over-unders. It doesn't matter if we switch around the picks. Any 3-leg parlay, you're betting 1 to win 6. So we've gone through this before, but essentially what this means is on Underdog Fantasy as well as PrizePicks, we can back out the implied prices or the implied odds and compare the lines on PrizePicks on Underdog to those on the sports books, right? So on PrizePicks, you really don't want to be playing 3-pick power plays, and the reason is the implied odds are minus 141. You'd much prefer a 5-pick or a 6-pick flex play. Now on Underdog Fantasy, you don't want to play 4-pick or 2-pick entries. You want to go with 3-pick or 5-pick where the implied odds are minus 122, right? So 3-pick or 5-pick entries, you have advantageous prices because you're not getting minus 137 juice, but you're getting minus 122. So basically, once you know how these platforms work, it's really just about hunting for value, right? So typically the first tool I go to is the positive EV tool. So the positive EV tool does something, what I consider to be very beautiful is it kind of just takes all this data in the market, right? There's so many sports books. You have all these fantasy companies like PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy. So OddsJam is updating millions of odds in real time. Lines are moving, sharp action's coming around, players are getting injured, weather's changing in the NFL. It gets more windy, passing totals have to go down. Like, this market's very dynamic. So OddsJam is updating odds in real time, right? Because speed is important to help you find great lines, right? So the EV tool does something very simple in that it just compares the lines on Underdog to those on the sports books. So you can filter for any of the sports books you use. So this video is about, player props. So I'm just focusing on Underdog Fantasy and PrizePicks, but it will default to showing you, all books kind of in your location. Every location has different sports books. Like I don't think Underdog Fantasy is legal in New Jersey, but it is in Arizona, so I'm using it, right? In the first play, you can see the highest profit margin play on OddsJam with a 4.76% edge or profit margin is Geno Smith under 1.5 passing TDs. And why do we like it, right? So what's beautiful about the EV tool is there's no BS. It just shows you value. So the reason this play is the most profitable is you'll notice all of the sports books are setting this line from minus 142 on Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, to minus 170 on DraftKings. So all of the sports books have the under heavily juiced, heavily favored, right? Sportsbooks imply win probabilities for bets through their odds. So obviously if something's minus 200, it's a 2-to-1 favorite. Minus 400 is a 4-to-1 favorite. 4-to-1 favorite means winning 4 out of 5 times, 80% of the time. So here the under is heavily favored, but again, on this platform, Underdog Fantasy, they're not varying your payouts depending on if you select the overs or the unders, as you can kind of see right here as I move this around. So they have like fixed pricing. So it's minus 122 on the over or the under. So you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sports books, because this odds jam column is just copying the Pinnacle odds. These will always be the same. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sports books in Arizona, all telling me, hey, Geno Smith under 1.5 passing TDs should be priced as like a minus 142 to minus 170 favorite. And we can get it minus 122. So that's ridiculous value, right? That's a play we want to be on. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you didn't mention anything about sports. The thing is it doesn't matter. It's all priced in. I've never watched hockey, and I have a hockey bet, Patrick Lane, over 1.5, over half of a point. The truth is, making money sports betting is about understanding the math, the market, the data. It's not about understanding the sports. Stop trusting your gut. Stop trusting handicappers. They're not smart. It's about understanding the data, understanding the market, and not getting scammed into paying people, $5 for their opinions on sports. Because realistically, everything is priced into the market. All information available, just like the price of the stock market. If Elon Musk buys Twitter, that's reflected in the stock price. The stock price knows that. If the weather changes, that's ultimately reflected in the odds, in the player prop odds. If it's going to be really windy, Geno Smith's rushing total will go up, right? Because he's more likely to be running as opposed to passing. It's all reflected in the market. And what's crazy about sports betting is all these sports books want to be unique and they set lines independently. So we can ruthlessly compare lines between books and hunt for value. And this is the first play. Then NBA play. Wow, crazy value on this. Jalen Green, over 3.5 assists. Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world. They have this minus 163. Bet Online, very sharp offshore sports book, has this minus 156. So NFL, NBA, NHL, same strategy, right? We're looking for those few rare betting opportunities. Like Underdog has this advantage on us. They're charging this minus 122 juice, right? They're charging minus 122 juice on both sides. So most bets aren't profitable. You can imagine taking Geno Smith over 1.5 passing TDs on Underdog is the worst bet ever. If you took the over, you're betting at minus 122. DraftKings is giving you plus 130. Right? That's like 52 cents worse. That's horrible. Right? If you were to bet $122 on Underdog, you'd be betting 122 to win back 100. On DraftKings, you'd be betting like 122 to win like 160 bucks. So these are massive differences, which is why it's critical to, line shop and look for value. You're looking for those few rare betting opportunities where sportsbooks are screwing up. And here you can see the first ones I went with. Cool. So let's move on. We can also go to this odds jam screen. So the screen is very useful. I use it all the time. And the reason is the EV tool is great for comparing lines set at the same level. So here we, essentially the expected value tool, it just shows you big discrepancies where sportsbooks are setting the line at the same level. Right? So here it's like every sportsbook has Geno's passing TDs line set at over under 1.5 passing TDs. But what's different is what the prices are, right? Minus 122 to minus 170. So a way I like to think about the EV tool is it's like, okay, we have one sportsbook telling us, we have all these different stock exchanges. Caesars Exchange is telling us, hey, Geno Smith under 1.5 passing TD should be worth 169 bucks. Unibet's saying, hey, it should be worth 155. DraftKings, it should be worth 170. Pinnacle, it should be worth 142. Right? And then finally, Underdog's like, hey, you can get it for 122. It's like, well, that's a no-brainer. We just had 7 other data points, sportsbooks setting lines that invest hundreds of millions of dollars into their trading technology, telling us that this should be worth 142 to 170, and we can grab it for 122. It's a no-brainer, right? Sportsbooks invest a lot of money, and their odds reflect millions of people's opinions, right? Just like the price of the stock market's based on supply and demand. If a bunch of people, smart people, start betting on Geno Smith over 1.5 passing TDs, the line will move, right? Odds reflect the consensus of all opinions in the market. Anyways, so the EV tool will compare lines at the same level, but what's useful about this screen is it lets you compare lines set at different levels. So what you'll notice here is a play I locked in, which is Victor Hedman over 2 shots on goal, right? Over 2. We want to take the over 2. PrizePicks has the line at 2.5. Same with FanDuel, same with DraftKings, same with Pinnacle, right? This is the Pinnacle column. Pinnacle has the over 2.5 shots on goal favored. We're getting over 2. So we're pushing if Hedman has exactly 2 shots on goal. Anyone else who bets his over on the sports books is losing. You can see Bet Rivers, a lot of sports books have the over 2.5 at -125 odds. That's a ridiculous value play, right? Just look at this. We're getting over 2. You know, the probability Hedman has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 shots on goal is probably like 90%. The probability he has exactly 2 shots on goal, that's what his distribution is centered around, is probably like 25%. And we're going to be pushing, everyone else is losing. So that's value, right? You're not going to win every bet as a sports bettor, but it's all about finding plays, you know, like the ones we bet with an edge, right? Plays with an edge that are going to win long term. So anyways, Hedman, over 2 shots. Jalen Green, Jabari Smith. So the Jabari Smith play is right here, right? Why is their line at 7? Everyone else is at 6.5. We want to be all over that under. Same reason, right? We're finding value, finding an edge. Under 7, over 2, over 3.5, under 5.5, over. So these were all the just from the EV tool. And then here's 5 more. So again, -122, right? We're just looking on Underdog Fantasy. You don't need to bet on every game. You're looking for 3 picks, usually, where you can find value at -122. And again, the reason is because on this platform, any 3-pick entry, you know, you're going to be betting 1 to win 6, which is just like a 3-leg parlay. So if we go to a parlay calculator, what you'll notice, and we can also start going through PrizePicks because I think I had some plays on PrizePicks as well. But anyways, Zion over 27.5 points, Dalvin Cook over 2.5 receptions, Steven Adams. I mean, literally, like the EV tool makes it so easy to make money sports betting. You're not going to win every day. These are bets with an edge. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. These are bets with an edge that guaranteed make you money in the long run. You just need to be able to deal with variance, which is something I talk about, you know, a fair amount on Twitter. Like you'll notice here, this is according to verified bet tracker Pickett. You know, this was my net profit in 2021. On the sports books, they allow syncing for, which isn't everyone, but you'll see there's downs, there's ups. You know, some months are great and some months are terrible, positive EV betting. June, I guess, was terrible. So like you got to be able to deal with variance if you want the upswings. But anyways, so first I have just these 3 positive EV bets. And then I also have, you know, I had a bunch more plays, but what did I have? We can see right here, like I took Giannis over, so you can see on PrizePicks his line is 31.5 points. All the sports books have him 32.5. Same with John Morant, 26.5 on PrizePicks. All the sports books Underdog have him at 27.5. So again, you know, I have a free entry, I have a protected entry. Some plays are from the screen. Here's my free entry. So from the screen, I mean, most of these were. And then, you know, some plays from the EV tool. And this is our free entry, right? So we go, you know, 10 out of 10, we're winning $1,000 on PrizePicks for these picks. So 17 player props in total, 5-pick free pick, 6-pick protected entry. And then I have, you know, a bunch of bangers on PrizePicks. Jabari Smith under 7 rebounds, and then these 5 kind of paired together in different ways. This is 250 to win 5,000. All sharp, mathematically profitable. We're going to make money in the long run. Not bad. Let's make money.